Oh, that's good. And that... Start recording! Hi everyone, and welcome to Reacting to the Worst Harry Potter Theories 3. The series where I find the most intricate and well thought out Harry Potter theories and dissect them for their flaws. Let me find an example. Perfect. Okay, so this theory aims to explain the inner workings of a snitch. Because what if I told you it was a Red Bull mixed with a Ferrero Rocher? I know. Unfortunately, despite the very convincing evidence, I have to debunk, so I decided to put this to the test. It doesn't work, obviously. I don't even know why I did this. I just made such a mess. I'm gonna go back upstairs and work on some real theories. Because what if I told you about today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legend? Now, I know, you've probably already heard about this free mobile game available on both iOS and Android from pretty much every YouTuber on the planet at this point. But you know what? You haven't heard it from me yet, because this is my first time being sponsored by them. Raid Shadow Legends is one of the fastest growing games in the world right now, with over 15 million downloads in the last 6 months, making it one of the top 3 ranked RPGs in the Google Play Store, and you can see why. There's a great storyline and missions that I can guarantee will keep you busy, and just look at those graphics. Honestly, to anyone who hasn't played it yet, now is the best time to get started. There are over 400 champions for you to collect and customize, with new ones coming out every single month. You can play with your friends and all die together. I mean, raid a clan together. There are these progression awards where you can get tons of free champions, equipment, and other cool stuff just for learning how to play. And look at this cool roadmap they've just published. There's a new faction, a new team arena feature, and even a new clan boss. Not even to mention the huge plans for updates in the game over the next 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click the special link, and get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Genuinely, if you have any interest in mobile games, it's free, so you might as well download it. It'll give you something to do while you're watching a show on Netflix, because, I mean, what else are you meant to do? Actually watch it? Don't be ridiculous. But seriously, if you're a fan of my channel, just clicking that link and downloading the game is a great way to support me, and you literally don't lose anything from it. It's a win-win the way I see it. Again, link in the description, and let's get back into the theories, because what if Ron Weasley used the Imperius curse on Hermione Granger to make her fall in love with him? I know, crazy, right? But with nearly 10,000 upvotes, this is actually the top-rated Harry Potter theory on our fan theories. And it's actually a really long and detailed theory. Is this gonna be good? Disclaimer, the following theory is based solely on evidence presented in the films and does not take any content from the books into consideration. Oh, no, we're good. So the theory opens by going through 10 instances of Ron being mean to Hermione throughout the series, and while some of the ones from the early films are reasonable, it's gotta be noted that he was a literal child. And it's actually a well-documented phenomenon that young boys will be mean to the girl that they like because they want to reduce the pain of getting rejected. And I think you'll notice that once Ron grows up a bit, he stops being so horrible. Like, the instance provided from the Order of the Phoenix was this.
I'll go easy.
Thanks, Ron.
Which, and the examples in The Half-Blood Prince were all to do with him kissing Lavender in front of her and being ignorant to the fact that she liked him. Also, honestly, I think more than anything, him being nasty to her as a kid shows that he liked her longer than we already knew, and her putting up with it shows that she probably liked him too. You know, that's actually quite an achievement. I've never been able to reach the opposite conclusion from the evidence presented in a theory before. Congrats! During the scene where the trio break into Gringotts, Ron Weasley effortlessly uses the Imperius curse on Bogrod, the Goblin Teller, without hesitation. I think this is a difference between the book and movies, because I can't remember Ron casting the Imperius curse ever, but I'll let it slide. So when, or on whom, did Ron practice the curse to become so effective at it? He practiced it on Hermione Granger, which explains why she suddenly fell in love with him. Okay, let's stop for a second here. You're saying Ron practiced on Hermione. Because, like, Ron just isn't that naturally good at spells. He has a pretty bad track record, and Hermione is pretty smart. I don't think Ron could just practice this on her without her working out what he's doing. I'm sorry. Also, even in the film, they go through that waterfall that removes all enchantments, so wouldn't the curse then be lifted off her when they go through that? It was lifted off the other guy, so, I mean, wouldn't she then work out what's going on? This seems full of holes. Like, I can agree with your argument on the motivation front. He definitely has some sort of inferiority complex around Harry, with one of his worst fears revolving around Harry ending up with Hermione. But I just don't think he, one, has the abilities to trick Hermione, of all people, or two, has it in him to do something that evil anyway? But I'm too curious to stop now. I want to know why you think he has this dark side. Sell me. Nigel Walpert delivers a parcel to Ron, then awkwardly lingers until Ron dismisses him. When Hermione gives Ron a questioning look, he admits that he promised Nigel Harry's autograph. Ron basically admitted to securing favours such as servitude in exchange for celebrity items, which shows a willingness to use his friendship with Harry to his personal benefit. Well, I mean, it's been right in front of us this entire time. During the scene at the diner where the trio are deciding what to do with the fallen Death Eater Antonin Dolohov, Ron Weasley is the first one to unflinchingly suggest murder, showing he clearly has a dark side. You see, I think you'll find there's a pretty big difference between killing someone who tried to kill you in a time of war and brainwashing one of your best friends for the rest of their life. At the end of the day, kudos to the person who put this all together. You clearly put a lot of time into it, and I feel bad picking at it so much, so I'm just gonna move on to the next theory, which is one I've actually wanted to talk about for quite some time, and I've seen it popping up in this subreddit quite a lot, with seemingly a lot of people buying it, which in this case, I really can't seem to work out why. But what if the Dursleys were actually mean to Harry because he was a Horcrux? Horcruxes, they just ruin everything, don't they? They ruin friendships, minds, bodies, lives, souls, and perfectly good jewelry. Okay, more of a nitpick than anything, but do Voldemort's Horcruxes actually ruin any friendships? Because the whole thing with Voldemort was that he didn't have any friends. He's very sad. And if you're talking about other relationships, I guess there was the whole situation with Ron in the Deathly Hallows, but that got resolved, and the diary technically brought Harry and Ginny closer together. Did Voldemort unintentionally set Harry and Ginny up? Because that's a theory people should be working on. I'm already convinced. Horcrux exposure can have harmful effects that grow steadily worse over time. It can begin to influence your thoughts and degrade your willpower. It will consume your mind and ravage your body. Now imagine what kind of horrible, twisted, heartless monster a person could become after being exposed to a Horcrux for, let's say, 10 years. Honestly, it's weird because the idea behind this theory isn't actually bad at all. Harry being a Horcrux having a negative effect on people he's around does logistically make sense, but it's just so inconsistent. I don't know how anyone can believe this. Like, why would it affect the Dursleys, but then not anyone else he spends a lot of time with? Because I guess, yeah, Ron does fall out with him a few times, but Hermione is consistently un-Dursley-ish. It's not even in the dictionary. Oxford, you're a disgrace. Then there's also just the entire first chapter of Harry Potter, which I feel like people forget about when they're writing Harry Potter theories. I'm looking at you, it was all a dream, theorist, because there is an entire chapter dedicated to Vernon Dursley's life before he got Harry. And, well, he seemed pretty awful even then. Wait, you know, I'm pretty sure McGonagall literally says it in the film.
They're the worst sort of muggles imaginable.
So not reading the books isn't even an excuse in this case, and it should never really be an excuse, but I bring it up because, well, what if Voldemort doesn't have a nose because James actually punched it off his face? I hate it. The sad thing is, there's a whole genre of theories revolving around Voldemort not having a nose. It's the worst thing the Harry Potter films ever unintentionally created, and that's including Hermione.
I had a really terrible crush on Tom Felton.
It really makes me wish the film stuck with the original design for Voldemort. Look at that beautiful nose. I guess it's my duty to dig into this theory since it got over 2,000 upvotes. James faced Voldemort without a wand, right? What if he got one punch in before he died? What if James punched Voldemort's nose off? And don't start with, oh, Seamus, just have a sense of humor about it. It's clearly a joke. I had a sense of humor for Voldemort nose jokes back when they were funny, which was, let me just check. Oh yeah, never. Next thing you know, they'll be throwing these jokes into Harry Potter stories and trying to claim they're canon. Alright, yeah, that happened, didn't it? Swiftly moving on, what if Dumbledore actually wanted Harry to develop an Obscurus to protect himself from Voldemort? Let's laugh before this becomes canon, shall we? So the theory explains how Dumbledore wrote in his original letter to the Dursleys to explain magic to Harry at some point, and that it was an accident that Harry wasn't told about magic before Hagrid, which I think makes sense considering Hagrid's reaction to Harry knowing literally nothing about magic.
It's an outrage! It's a scandal!
And therefore makes the leap that if things had gone to Dumbledore's plan, he would have been taught to suppress and be ashamed of his magic. Meaning Dumbledore's big grand plan was for Harry to develop an Obscurus to protect him in case Voldemort returned to power while he was still a child. Which honestly isn't bad. How many times are gonna say that this video? These are meant to be the worst theories. And you know what? This doesn't make any sense with Dumbledore's character. Considering his sister died because of her Obscurus, something he regrets until his dying day, and his alleged brother's Obscurus was intended to be used against him in the exact same way by Grindelwald, it just feels like Dumbledore would be the last person to try and do this. And yeah, okay, maybe at some point in Fantastic Beasts, Dumbledore and Newt will figure out a cure to an Obscurus, making it safer, but I mean, who knows at this point? It's not as if that's concrete evidence, it's pure speculation, but for some weird reason, just reading through this theory, I get the impression it's more trying to justify the real reason why Harry was made to live with the Dursleys rather than actually explain why Harry could be an Obscurus. And one thing I don't get is why there are so many theories to do with this. We get told countless times the reason why Harry's living with the Dursleys is because Lily's love spell prevents any harm from coming to Harry while he's in a blood-related relative's home. And Petunia is her sister. Like, we don't need to know the real reason because we already have it. But, you know what we don't know about yet? The real reason why Ron was mad at Harry in the Goblet of Fire? Remember how he got super jealous and didn't talk to Harry for like half the year? Today we're gonna find out why. Ron isn't really pissed at Harry for finding a way around the age line. Rather, he's mad at the universe itself for once again finding a way to shove Harry into the spotlight, while once again finding a way to shove Ron into the background. Oh, so the conclusion to the theory was that he was jealous. That was the reason all along. I mean, to be fair, I guess it was never specifically said, other than when it was specifically said. "Oh, Harry, isn't it obvious?" Hermione said despairingly. "He's jealous." Jealous? Harry said incredulously. Jealous of what? He wants to make a prat of himself in front of the whole school, does he? And I guess with that all cleared up, the video is done. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. You can go follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and most importantly, Instagram, because I feel like I'm not gaining any followers on Instagram anymore, and I mention it in every video, so a lot of you clearly aren't listening, but also Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter too. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking here. You can watch another video by clicking here. You can check out my Patreon here and in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. For the record, a Ferrero Rocher covered in Red Bull tastes exactly the same.